This is an advanced adjustment walkthrough for asphalt conditions, otherwise known as tarmac. I'm going to be testing at Germany at on the stage Frauenberg, long, midday clear, good conditions, with the 2010s Ford Fiesta Rally, RS Rally. I'm still getting over my cold or flu. I don't know if I had a cold or flu, but it lasted about a week. Please excuse my coughs or my constant clearing of throat. All right, so first thing to do is to test the car as it is. Right now I'm going to pay attention to the gearing and the braking, because I need the gearing to match somewhat to how I would have the gearing during a full rally season.
4, 3, 2, 1, go. 200 past junction.
First can be longer.
Right 5. Into left 5, don't cut past junction. 100. Crest past junction. Into right 6 over crest past junction.
Steering's a little wobbly.
80. Turn left
6th
1,
gear
don't
needs to
cut.
be longer.
80. Turn left 1, don't cut. 80. Left 6 over crest, keep in. 150 through dip. Finish.
Alright, so the car is alright. It could be better. It was a little wobbly through the high-speed section, and I didn't really pay attention too much. I should have paid more attention. However, what we're going to try and do is maximize the braking performance in a straight line. And we're going to do that by finding out when the tires lock up. But first thing I'm going to do actually is the ride height. I'm going to lower this one, and then try and get 2 centimeter difference for the under tray rake that I want. So this needs to be, that was at 24, so this needs to be 4 for 2 centimeters. I'm going to be at 1.8 centimeters of ride height difference, which is close enough. And then also, first thing I'm going to do for maximum power output is increase the driving lock. And then, let's see. Oh yeah, also I'm going to change these tender springs. Bring them down 2. This is just based on how my experience with the Hyundai Rally, so it can handle the bumps, and also the fast bump threshold. I'm going to bring this down to 990, and this all the way down. Fast bump maximum rebound will be the same. I already did the tender spring. Fast bump will be here, rebound will be maximum. This goes down 1, and this goes to minimum. Alright, so all I've changed is the differential and the rear differential and the bump stuff, the tender spring and fast bump damping. Excuse me. I'm going to save the setup. Let's see. Test 2. There we go. On pavement or asphalt or tarmac, however you want to call it. All right, and so what we're going to do is, one, pay attention to the high-speed sections, high-speed stability through that first S, and then pay attention to straight line braking over the crest into the slow-speed section.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 200 past junction. Right 5.
Oh, I also need to change the gearing.
Into left 5, don't cut past junction.
Whoops, forgot to do
100.
that.
Crest past junction. Into right 6 over crest past junction. 80. Turn left 1, don't cut. 80.
So I'm mashing the brake as hard as I can, and nothing. I mean,
turn left 1, don't cut.
It wasn't locking
80.
up at all, neither
left
front
6 over crest,
or rear. So
150 through dip.
What I'm going to do is
To finish.
change the brake force. I'm going to go up 2 and see how that handles. Also, though, in order to maximize the braking performance, I'm gonna find out whether or not the front or rear tires lock up first. Yeah. So I'm going to do that after. I'm going to test this as it is, and then I'm going to move the rear brake bias, or move the brake bias towards the rear, and then make decisions from there. Oh, the gearing. Forgot to change the gearing again.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 200 past junction. Right 5. Into left 5, don't cut past junction. 100. Crest past junction. Into right 6 over crest past junction. 80. Turn left 1, don't cut. 80.
Definitely locking up the front.
Turn left 1, don't cut.
Excuse me.
80. Left 6 over crest, keep in.
I can
150 through dip.
increase
Finish.
the length of the gearing. It's definitely 6th gear. I've already run out of gear down that hill. So let's do gearing first before I forget. I'm still locking up the front. That's what I'm paying attention to. All right, 6th gear can be maximum, and since I don't want to have a large gap between 5th and 6th gear, I'm going to increase this, because I don't want to be in 5th gear and then shift to 6th and have the car bogged down, especially with low wheel torque. And then same with 4th gear. I'm going to increase that a little bit. 3rd gear, I'm going to leave the same. 2nd gear and 1st gear definitely can be longer. 2nd gear, I ran out of gear on the exit of that last tight turn, so I'm going to increase this a bit. In 1st gear, I can increase that as well. I want to be able to use 1st gear for the acute turns and not just bounce off the rev limiter out of the corner. However, I don't have any acute turns in this shakedown. However, I can gauge the wheel torque of 1st gear from the starts. to find out if I have enough wheel torque. And then save. Oh, change the brake bias, I forgot. Focus too much on the gearing. So I was locking up the front for sure. So I'm going to bring this down. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to bring it down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Bring it down 4 from where it was, and then test out how the tires lock up. Right now I'm focusing on maximizing the braking performance of the car. Oh, there's another thing I needed to change, and that was camber. I'll change that after this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 200 past junction. Right 5. Into left 5, don't cut past junction. 100. Crest past junction. Into right 6 over crest past junction. 80. Turn left 1, don't
so
cut.
let's test the
80.
brakes. Locking up the front. Yeah, that's definitely the front.
Turn left 1, don't cut. 80. Left 6 over crest, keep in.
I can make second gear a little bit longer.
To finish.
Alright, so I locked up the front still. So I'm going to bring the brake bias down 2. And gears, I'm going to change the gears. Second gear, do I really want that? Yeah, I'm going to change third gear also. Make it more of a linear gear shift. Let's see. Fourth gear I'm going to also increase. Alright. So, brake bias was changed and the gearing was changed.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 200 past junction. Right 5. Into left 5, don't cut past junction. 100. Crest past junction. Into right 6 over crest past junction. 80. Turn left 1,
lock up the brakes again.
80.
Yeah, still the front.
Turn
Still
left
locking up
1,
the
don't
front.
cut. 80.
That means I have more
Left 6
rear
over crest, keep in.
grip available for braking.
150 through dip. Finish.
So I'm going to reduce the brake bias down 1. Oh, save it. Save the changes. I'm probably going to focus solely on braking performance in this first segment.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 200 past junction. Right 5. Into left 5, don't cut past junction. 100. Crest past junction.
So I'm
Into
bottoming
right
out
6
on
over
a
crest
bump
past
there
junction. 80.
in the high-speed section,
Turn
but it
left
doesn't
1,
seem to
don't
put the
cut.
car
80.
off. Lock up. It's still locking up the front.
Turn left 1, don't cut. 80. Left 6 over crest, keep
Yeah,
in.
definitely locking up the front. Alright, so I need to move
150 through
move the
dip
brake bias further back.
to finish.
And that means moving the brake bias all the way back. And then we'll see what happens. And also, just a reminder, this is not the permanent brake force I'm going to use. This is just what I'm using to easily lock the brakes, so I don't have to mash my pedal, or in some cases, if you have your brake force too low, you may never lock up with the amount of travel you have on your brake pedal or brake button.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 200 past junction. Right 5. Into left 5, don't cut past junction. 100. Crest past junction. Into right 6 over crest past junction. 80. Turn left 1, don't cut. 80.
Yep, definitely locking up the front.
Turn left 1, don't cut. 80.
With full
Left 6 over crest, keep in.
full rear brake bias.
150 through dip.
Usually
Finish.
what would happen in a different game, like I said, of course, maybe, is you'd move the rear brake bias back until just the rear locks up, and then you would adjust your brake bias from there. However, in this game, it limits you limits you as to how far you can adjust the value. I have no idea what percent brake bias this is. It's just whatever that scale is. And so this is as much brake bias as I can get, rear brake bias as I can get for Tarmac. And so, given that, I'm going to reduce this down to here. This is probably going to be where my performance braking is going to come from, all shell braking, preventing me from locking up. Alright, now we're going to test with this reduced brake strength to see how the car handles in corner entry while braking. And we're going to try to get the car to oversteer. Basically, that's my goal, is to oversteer on the brakes. And so, but I need to test this brake strength first before I make any other changes. I'm running out of shakedowns, so like I said, this segment will probably be focused on brake strength and brake bias and braking and entering
5,
corners.
4, 3, 2, 1, go. 200 past junction. Right 5. Into left 5, don't cut past junction. 100. Crest past junction. Into right 6 over crest past junction. 80. Turn left 1, don't cut. 80.
So the front end is locking up.
Turn left 1, don't cut.
And I can't change
80.
the brake bias, so I'm going to have to change the
Left 6
suspension
over crest,
to...
keep in.
Oh, and I'm getting
150 through dip.
throttle understeer.
Finish.
So I'm going to have to change the suspension to get the braking performance I want. Well, also, I forgot to adjust the camber. I'm going to do that before I forget. So, maximum camber, what is this, 1.83? That's not very aggressive, honestly. An aggressive camber might be around like 3 degrees of static negative camber. This is actually pretty minor, so I'm just going to run maximum. Considering these are They're not wide, low sidewall racing tires. They're narrow, they're fairly tall sidewall tires. So there's going to be a bit more flex than like than say a race car, a circuit race car. So I'm just going to run maximum here. Alright. And so I can't change the brake bias anymore, and I want more oversteer on the brakes. So what I'm going to do is change the spring rate. Keeping in mind what the damper is at. Alright, so I'm just going to explain what my thought process is. Starting with the spring rate, is that the spring rate combined with the anti-roll bar affects your maximum dynamic loading on that corner or end, I should say. So let's say you're making a turn, right? And the dynamic loading will shift to a corner of the car depending on your suspension. And so if you have a softer front end, the car will favor the front corner, the front outside corner. And that's what I'm going to try to achieve with spring rate and anti-roll. First though, I'm going to change the anti-roll because I'm getting mid-corner, what was it? No, I'm not going to focus on that. I'll focus just on the spring rate actually. I'm going to bring this all the way down and see how that handles. I know what's going to happen in combination with the damper, this is what I was going to explain, is that with that soft front spring rate, the car is going to be wobbly, and so I'm going to use the damper, the bump damper, to control how wobbly the front end is. So I'm going to leave that where it is for now. It's probably going to be fairly high, the bump damper, but first I need to test the spring rate before I make any other changes.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 200 past junction. Right 5. Into left 5, don't cut past junction. 100.
Turns in.
Crest past junction.
Understeer there.
Into right 6 over crest
Need to
past
change
junction.
the anti-roll in the rear.
80.
Am I getting mid-corner
Turn
understeer?
left 1, don't cut. 80.
Oh, too fast. Oh, didn't learn anything there. Entered the corner too fast.
Turn left 1, don't cut. 80. Left 6 over crest, keep in.
Alright, so I'm getting oversteer on the brakes.
150 through dip.
But I did get that understeer out of that high-speed S-bend. So, let's see. So, the final front spring rate is going to be dependent on my rear spring rate and anti-roll. And I got that understeer out of that high-speed corner, pushed me out into the grass. So I'm going to increase this rear anti-roll all the way. And then we'll see if that's too much, and if with the rear anti-roll, if the softness of the front spring rate is too much. I have one shakedown remaining. Then I'll do a full stage test, and then cut the video into a second part.
3, 2, 1, go. 200 past junction. Right 5. Into left 5, don't cut past junction. 100. crest, past junction.
Definitely didn't get that
Into right
understeer
6
there.
over crest, past junction, 80. Turn left 1, don't cut, 80.
The car is still manageable.
Turn left 1, don't cut, 80.
Let's see.
Left 6 over crest, keep in. 150 through dip. To finish.
So the car is manageable. The rear end is manageable with the rear anti-roll at maximum. However, I'm going to change the front anti-roll. That will dictate that will also dictate the final strength of the rear anti-roll. Let's see. I got too much braking. I mean, I was intentionally oversteering the car, so I couldn't tell how the car was performing mid-corner because I intentionally oversteered into the turn more than necessary. So I'm going to do another test before I make another change, which means I need to do a full stage test.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 200 past junction. Right 5. Into left 5, don't cut past junction. 100. Crest past junction. Into right 6 over crest past junction. 80. Turn left 1, don't cut. 80.
Too fast. Oops.
Turn left 1, don't cut, 80. Left
So I actually
6 over crest,
locked up
keep
the
in.
front. So
150 through
that was
dip.
interesting.
And crest
I locked up the
past
front
junction.
into the
Care jump maybe past junction. 80
that
past
first
junction.
tight turn, even though I
Right
have
6,
the
100.
soft front spring. So
Crest
what I'm
and
suspecting.
crest. Caution braking, turn
Let's see,
right
hang on.
1. Don't cut.
Yeah, again locking
Into
up the front.
turn right 1, don't cut past junction. 80.
If I brake smoothly, it's all right.
Past junction.
Yeah, under
80.
mid-corner understeer.
Left 6.
So what's happening
Right
on the
4
brakes
past junction, 80.
is while the car is diving,
Left 5.
I have good
100
traction on the
past
front end. But
junctions.
once the car hits its maximum
Right 5 over
dive,
crest.
there's a sudden
Care
spike
left 3, don't cut past junction.
in. Whoa! A sudden spike in the front end stiffness,
Double caution, dip, right 5, immediate hairpin left ground bales.
which is causing the front end to
Bronx
lock
on
up.
Exit, 200.
So I need to
Crest jump
manage
maybe
the front
80.
end dive on the brakes
Off junction. Into left 6
because I'm not using the rear end enough to
Caution
brake.
braking left 3. Right 6, 130.
This corner. This says this is 3.
Caution right 5.
That's not a 3.
And turn right 4, don't cut. Into turn square left, don't cut. Keep in, rocks on exit.
Yeah, mid-corner
250
understeer.
crest.
I can counteract it with the brakes, but I'd rather just have a car that performs the way I want
caution
everywhere.
crest, immediate left 5, don't cut.
So I'm going to
250
focus on that
down.
mid-corner understeer.
Turn right 4, through dip, don't cut, narrows. 80 crest.
Whoa, understeer
Into
hard.
right 5,
Yeah, that's terrible.
left 6.
So I'm getting
Caution
mid-corner
braking,
understeer,
turn square
even
right
with the
deceptive.
maximum
40
rear
past
anti-roll bar
junction.
stiffness. And I'm locking up that
80.
front end.
Turn left 1 long, cut.
So I need to increase the front
60.
spring rate, or damper.
Right 5
Actually, I'm going to
long,
increase the front
100 through
damper to reduce the speed at which the car dives
Care,
on the
turn
brakes.
left 1, don't cut, opens.
And then I'm going to
100.
reduce the
Caution, tight
reduce
chicane, right
the-
entry, 150.
the front anti-roll to get the mid-corner
Caution,
performance
tight
I'm looking
chicane,
for.
left entry, 200. Care, turn square right, don't cut, truck on exit. 60 crest. Past junction.
Yeah, there's some understeer.
Right 3, don't cut. 100 through dip, past junction. Left 5 times 3, don't cut, 60. Right 3 opens long past junction. Down. Turn square right, don't cut. 80. Left 5 long, don't cut. 150.
Understeer on throttle.
Caution, turn right 2, don't cut. Immediate turn left 4, don't cut. 150 past
So the rear,
laybys.
the rear stiffness might be a little too soft. Or spring rate,
Right
I mean.
5 continues 100. Into caution, turn left 5 bad camber, keep mid on exit, past junction, 80, crest. Left 4 over crest, don't cut, 80.
Alright.
Right 6, don't cut, 80. Bump dip. Right 3 half long, don't cut past junction. Left
3.
6 past junction, don't cut. And
That's a
dip.
3.
Right 5, 60
Oh,
past
look too
junction,
fast into that
80.
3.
Crest.
Car's a little wobbly
Turn
on
left 2,
transition
don't cut.
there.
100.
Left 2.
Caution braking, turn open hand
Yeah,
right,
throttle
don't cut.
understeer.
Turn acute left, don't cut. 150.
How's it? Gearing is good on the
Crest past
acutes.
junction, left 5. Into right 5 over crest.
Or it's close to what I want anyway.
Caution, left 5 long, braking through gate. Turn right 3, don't cut. And right 5 tightens 4 through dip.
Need to change the gearing for those hills.
Into left 4, don't cut, opens long, 80. Caution hairpin left, down. Into acute right, down. Into left 6, 80.
So I can jab the brake for a little bit of
80.
oversteer.
Care right 4, rocks on exit.
But I'm going to fix that
Left 5,
understeer
100 through dip.
either way.
Caution braking, open hairpin left. Down, into hairpin right, don't cut, 200. Left 5 over crest, deceptive, 100 down.
Second gear could be shorter.
Caution braking, turn open hairpin right, don't cut, 80.
Ooh, blocking up hard here.
Crest 80, right 6, through dip, 100.
The front end is bouncy as
Double
I'm
caution, keep left at junction, jump maybe,
pulsing the
keep
brake.
mid, rocks on exit.
The front end pops back up and dives back down as I pulse the brake.
100 through dip,
Oh,
right 6
almost
to
hit that rock.
finish.
So I really would like to reduce that front end dive, and it's actually causing the front end to lock up instead of the rear end, which is what I would suspect. What's happening is the front end is diving. I'm either hitting the bump stop or the moment at which the spring reaches its maximum stiffness by compression. It's increasing the loading on the tire at that point, which causes the front to lock up. Excuse me, which is causing understeer on the brakes and front end lockup, which means I'm not using the rear end to its full potential on the brakes. There's also mid-corner understeer I need to address. Also throttle understeer I need to address. And those are the things I'm going to focus on. And also the gearing I'll change a little bit. But those previous mentioned conditions I'm going to adjust for in the next video.